I've spent the last 15 years pretty obsessed by a single question, which is, what is it that holds capable, driven people from breaking through to the next level? And the answer to that question, to my great surprise, is success. I first observed this working with executive teams in Silicon Valley, where I noticed that when they were focused on a few things, it led to success. But success breeded so many opportunities and options that diffused the very focus that led to success in the first place. And so, exaggerating the point in order to make it, I found that success becomes a catalyst for failure, because it leads to what Jim Collins called the undisciplined pursuit of more. The antidote to that problem is the disciplined pursuit of less but better. That means exploring the very critical things you want to pursue and being willing to then, number two, eliminate the rest, and number three, build a platform for effortless execution so that doing what is essential becomes the default position, not just the rare occasion. My position is that when people really get a chance to think and have the space, that they can quite easily discern between the things that are essential to them, important to them, and those things that are not. The problem is not our ability to discern, it's that we don't have the space to take the time to discern. Once we have that perspective, we can think through it. So my position is that we need to develop a routine that enables that space to think. In a world where we have so much information, we need more time to think and process it, not less. And so, one CEO that I interviewed for the book has 2 hours on his calendar every day, broken up into half-hour segments, so that he has this space to stop, to turn everything off, to think, to see the bigger picture. I think we could all do something similar to that. The idea for many people of saying no to a senior leader, to even family members and so on, is so unthinkable, they just don't even experiment with it. So they end up being a novice with no. They just want to avoid this like the plague. But what I've found is that essentialists practice and learn and develop this skill. Kay Krill is the CEO of Loft and the Ann Taylor brand. And she said that years ago she was really bad at saying no. And somebody came to her mentor and said, look, you've got to learn to get rid of all of these people and commitments that don't mean anything to you, because they'll rob you of the things that really do. And she said that because she got that feedback, she did learn over the years how to say no, how to push back gracefully, sensibly, but unapologetically. And now she says she's very good at it. And it saved her so many wasted hours, wasted days, wasted commitments, because she actually learned to develop a repertoire for saying no. One of the executives that I interviewed for the book, because he was trying to be a good citizen to his new company, ended up saying yes to almost everything. And his stress was going up, the quality of work was going down, and so he started to, with an experiment, saying no more often, being more selective. And what he found was that the meaning of his work was going up, the value of his work to the company was going up, his stress was going down, and he ended up with one of the best performance evaluations of his career and one of the largest bonuses of his career. In that little story, there is the argument for essentialism, that by focusing on the few things that are really essential, we're actually able to make a more valuable contribution. I think becoming an essentialist is not an easy thing. I certainly think it's a revolutionary thing. You find yourself saying no when other people are saying yes. You're going to be saying yes when other people are saying no. But in the end, in the final analysis, anything less than the disciplined pursuit of the essential will lead to the undisciplined pursuit of the non-essential. And that's a price I don't think many of us would deliberately choose. Life every night, he went to the gym. Suddenly he got a sense of control back. What happened at work? By the end of the year, his performance ratings went up, massively up. and he ended off the year with one of the largest bonuses of his whole career. How's it possible? Well, actually, the way it's possible is arithmetic. It's a really simple idea and possible to execute. Because you can either do many, many things averagely well, or you can do a few things superbly well. And if you do the right few things superbly well, you are far more likely to be acknowledged for what you've done and to make a significant contribution. And so this is the value proposition of essentialism. Is done right, you can increase your contribution overall. Well, what about you? Very way to success. But what I found is the opposite. That logic leads to the undisciplined pursuit of more, to use Jim Collins' phrase. And the antidote to it is the disciplined pursuit of less but better. So you can take that design ethic. The design ethic, by the way, came from Dieter Rams, the head designer at Braun for 35 years. And he summarized all of his life's learnings into 10 principles, summarized those even further to 1, and then summarized that into 3 words: less but better. And he applied it to the design of products, and superbly successful in doing so. But I want to make the case that we can take that same design ethic and use it to great advantage in our careers, in our leadership, and also in our lives writ large. And the importance of that is difficult to overstate, because it is a matter of fact, and I want to put it to you and then ask a kind of a big and crucial question for our conversation today. I'll put it to you that the evidence is that at the end of our lives, there seems to be a tendency to regret the way we lived them. Bronnie Ware is the Australian nurse. This is just one example, one data point, but she spoke to a lot of people at the end of their lives, captured them, and wrote a piece called The 5 Regrets of the Dying. At the top of that list was having lived a life that was not true to myself, but to the life other people expected of me. And the second was too much time in work, too little time with family and key relationships. And then the list goes on. But the point I want to put to you is that nobody intended to be there. Nobody designed that outcome. It happened by default. And my question to you is how it happened. So here's the question. Why is it that otherwise intelligent people end up getting tricked by the trivial? This is my question to you. It's not an insignificant question, because other people just as smart as you, as us, just as driven, just as thoughtful, just as careful, somehow seem to end up where they didn't intend to end up. And that is more than intellectual curiosity, although it is that to me. It's also just a question we ought to ask about, because, we just get the one wild and precious life after all. So how do we design our choices really matters. So coming back to you now, I want the answers again, fast and furious. Why is it that otherwise intelligent people get tricked by the trivial? This is the question I want to put to you. What are your thoughts?
Craft. It's something our modern world too easily forgets. At the Balvenie, we don't believe in faster or more or outsourcing. We believe in doing the hard work ourselves so it gets done the right way, without shortcuts. It's why we're the only distillery to grow our own barley and malt it ourselves by hand. It's why we employ our own team of coopers to tend our casks and coppersmiths to maintain the stills by hand. It's why we have a malt master with 50 years of experience. At the Balvenie, we do things differently, which is why we fund and support craftsmen all around the world. Follow our journey at the Balvenie Commission.
Celebration is ecstatic, absolutely ecstatic. Thoroughly deserved. He's the best player in the world. He has been for the whole season. What a climax. Very gracious to his opponent. Over the moon, PJ. When he won his World Opens, he didn't react like this. That goes to show the history of the event and what's happened.
Well, it's rather fitting, really, after the great Abu Talib back in '66. For the next Egyptian to take the title,
he's got tears. He's got tears. He's first time expressing tears. I'm starting to get pretty emotional just by his reaction. It's unbelievable. He has made such history. Look at that. He really is an ethereal human being. He's not from this planet. And we are treated to seeing him play time and time again. This is awesome, absolutely awesome.
Well, you said it, Joe, he thoroughly deserved from Ramy Ashour. The winning streak continues from this unique individual. Such a joy and pleasure to watch and commentate on.
Well, there's the big hug from his trainer, who's supported him throughout the whole of the week. He's been there for him. We'll have a very emotional speech, I hope we do.
I'm sure Dr. Allen will be absolutely delighted with the trophies gone to Ramy Ashour this year.
Rightly so. He's got to witness one of the greats of the game, who's got plenty of time ahead of him, I hope.
Well, we hope.
Well, we hope, sorry.
Absolutely.
Well, let's forget you, PJ, and everyone else that loves our sport. Well, I can't wait to hear his speech. A nice, nice smile.
What it means to win this trophy today?
Well, to be honest, you know, there's a quote which says, the game is just a game, what's important is what you play for. And I think I've played this tournament for a lot, or I mean, at this game in general, I played today and I played yesterday and played for the whole week, and I've been preparing for more than 8 weeks, especially for this tournament, for a lot of reasons. I've had so much hard times the last couple of weeks, real hard times back home, and I'm really proud of myself that I've accomplished this, and I've really broken all the hurdles. And I had a lot of negativity around me, a lot of negative energy. Without getting into details, I had some hard times, and it's winning this prestigious event for me is one of the happiest moments in my life, if not the happiest, because I've experienced waking up in the morning every day with such a heavy heart and a heavy spirit, and pushing myself to go out of bed and train as hard as I ever trained, with having lots of issues in my mind and lots of distractions. This kind of moments and this kind of situations and weeks and tournaments teaches you a lot, and I've learned a lot for the last couple of months, actually. There's a lot of people who I have to thank, who stood by me in the last couple of times, in the last few weeks, the last few months, actually. First of all, of course, my mom and my dad, my parents, they have always been next to me, and they've always held me and supported me. Of whatever my condition is, they're always next to me.
Thanks for having me back.
So we started talking about CC Sabathia, who announced that he's an alcoholic.
Yes.
We just started asking Tony about whether you drink or not, and let's pick up that conversation.
Yeah, so we found out you don't drink, and there's
I'm not
a good
against
reason.
drinking in any way, yeah.
But those who want that buzz, want that high, where else can they get it? What do you suggest?
Well, we were just saying that, you know, both my parents were alcoholics, so it's not like I'm against drinking. It's just the way they behaved at that point was kind of abusive, and was very abusive, and so I didn't want to be part of that. But we all want to be able to change the way we feel, and that's what I spend my life showing people how to do. And what most people don't know is emotion is created by motion. So what I was saying is I have this deal with myself called priming. Every day I say, look, you got to have 10 minutes for yourself. You don't have